There is a fly, not a metaphor, not a headline. An actual fly, smaller than your thumbnail, with reddish-orange eyes and a metallic sheen. And it has just been confirmed for the first time in 60 years to be breeding on American soil. In June 2026, the U.S. Department of Agriculture confirmed the first domestic case of the new World Screwworm in a Texas calf, the first confirmed U.S. detection since 1966. TikTok immediately diagnosed this as a plague, a pandemic, a sign of the end times. I'm Dr. Harvey Jenkins, physician, scientist, and apparently the only person on this platform willing to replace your panic with a physiology lesson. Let's do this properly. Cochliomyia hominivorax. The name is Latin. It means man-eater. Fly family Calliforida, the blowflies. The same clan made famous in forensic science for populating crime scenes. But this species has a distinguishing characteristic that sets it apart from every other member of its family and from virtually every other fly on the planet. While most fly larvae are decomposers, feeding on dead or decaying tissue, screwworm larvae are obligate parasites of living flesh. They cannot complete their development on a carcass. They require a living, warm-blooded host. That is not a coincidence of evolution. That is a 30-million-year-old arms race. Here's how it works. A mated female, and she mates only once in her entire 3 to 4 week life, seeks out a wound. And when I say any wound, I mean exactly that. A cut from barbed wire, a tick bite, the navel of a newborn calf. She deposits 100 to 400 eggs at the wound's edge. Within 12 to 24 hours, those eggs hatch, and the larvae, the screwworms, immediately begin burrowing into living tissue using sharp, curved mouth hooks to tear and consume muscle. They rotate as they burrow. That is where the name comes from. Corkscrew fashion, head down, eating their way deeper. The wound does not close. It grows. Other flies detect it. More eggs are laid. An infestation can penetrate to vital organs within a week. Untreated, an infested animal can die within 7 to 14 days, from egg to reproductive adult, as few as 21 days. In warm climates, multiple generations per year, the math is not in the animal's favor. Let me tell you what is actually happening inside a wound, because the chemistry here is extraordinary, and not entirely without irony. The larvae secrete a suite of serine proteases and metalloproteases, proteolytic enzymes that systematically degrade the extracellular matrix of host tissue. Collagen, fibronectin, the structural scaffolding of your muscle and connective tissue. Broken down into nutrients, the larvae absorb. Simultaneously, those same secretions modulate local inflammation. The wound doesn't mount a proper immune response. Here is the irony. Researchers studying the screwworm's secretions have identified dozens of proteins with potential application in wound healing. Science is never simple. There is also a pheromone dimension. The infested wound produces chemical signals that actively attract additional gravid females. And female flies can detect volatile compounds associated with wounds from hundreds of meters away, using chemoreceptors in their antennae. This is not a dumb parasite. This is a precision instrument, refined over evolutionary time, for one purpose. Now, the question everyone actually has. The honest answer is yes, humans can be infested. A landmark case. August 2025. The CDC confirmed the first travel-associated human screwworm infection detected in the United States in decades. A Maryland resident. Treatment. The larvae are visible in the wound. A physician physically removes them. Wound disinfection. Management of secondary infection. Without treatment, however, the prognosis is grim. Larvae can invade deep tissue, nasal passages, and in extreme cases, the central nervous system. Death can result from sepsis or organ destruction. That is the honest version, not the TikTok version. Now, your ribeye. You cannot contract screwworm myiasis by eating beef. The parasite requires living tissue. Once an animal is slaughtered and processed, the larvae cannot survive. The food supply is safe. What is not safe, economically speaking, is your grocery bill. This story does not exist in a vacuum. It arrived against an already stressed cattle supply chain. U.S. cattle herd sizes have been shrinking for 6 consecutive years. Beef prices are already up 53%. Mexico supplies up to 18% of feedlot placements in southwestern states. When imports were suspended, it eliminated 20,000 head of cattle per week. The bottom line, screwworm is not a food safety issue, but a beef price issue. An outbreak could cost the Southwest more than $3 billion. One more thing. The CDC has been through extraordinary turbulence. DOGE-driven workforce reductions resulted in the termination or departure of thousands of employees. The concern, a weakened CDC, means less capacity for cross-agency coordination and less surveillance at the human-animal interface. A weakened CDC is a less effective CDC. Full stop. The agricultural crisis is a different matter. Nature is quite willing to fill the vacuum when biosecurity funding erodes or institutional memory is lost. I'm Dr. Harvey Jenkins. Full article and breakdown at UnBedSideManners.com. Like, share, and subscribe, because this won't be the last story that needs telling straight.